Thank you very much, Paul. Capacity crowd, better than 18,000 here at Staples Center in downtown LA as we get ready for game one of the best-of-5 Western Conference Series between the Portland Trail Blazers and the Los Angeles Lakers. Hi, everybody. I'm Marv Albert, along with Doug Collins. We'll be joined in just a moment by Jim Gray. And for the Lakers, it's been quite a finish to the regular season. Very much back in sync. They won their last 8. The defending champs turning it on, playing their best basketball of the season down the stretch as they look to the Portland Trail Blazers today. And Phil Jackson has to be very pleased with the play of Kobe Bryant and Shaquille O'Neal.
Well, Marv, finally in LA some harmony this season. They're starting to play like they did last year. And the reason, they have the best 1-2 punch in the NBA, and they've gotten it together at the right time. Shaquille has been devastating. Free throw shooting the last game of the season, 13 of 13 from the line, which is important. Kobe back emotionally, physically, playing the best basketball of the season. The 1-2 punch is back. They're feeling good about defending their title. And talking to the guys, I have not seen them this confident all season long, Marv.
And these are two clubs going in opposite directions. The Portland Trail Blazers come out of the regular season with 3 straight losses, 7 defeats their last 10 games. They have been a dysfunctional group, capped off by the incident that took place here in Los Angeles last Sunday when they went up against the Lakers. Rasheed Wallace throwing a towel at teammate Arvydas Sabonis during the course of a timeout. Now, for more on the troubles of the Blazers, let's check in with Jim Gray. Jim?
All right, thank you very much, Marv. Well, NBC Sports has learned that after the game, back in the locker room, there were some heated words exchanged between Wallace and some of his teammates. Mike Dunleavy got into the fray, and there were some heated words exchanged between he and Wallace. Wallace then approached and rushed Dunleavy, and he was restrained by a bunch of his teammates. It further escalated later in the week. NBC Sports has learned that there was a skirmish in practice between Scottie Pippen and between Detlef Schrempf. That was broken up. We asked Mike Dunleavy about both of these incidents, and he confirmed that they both happened. He said the Pippen-Schrempf incident is something that happens all the time with playoff intensity. He's seen it as a coach, he's seen it as a player, and he didn't think that that was really too much of a big deal. He did say, however, the thing that happened after the game was part of Rasheed Wallace's suspension, and that he didn't really want to comment any further on it. Marv, this is a team that has a lot of turmoil.
All right, thank you, Jim. Doug, what is going on with the Blazers?
Marv, it comes down to one thing. They have one choice. Put it all behind them. They've got a chance to salvage their season if they can win this series against the Lakers. If not, it will be a disastrous finish to an awful season for the Blazers.
All right, this crowd is ready. Coming up, it's game one of the best of 5 between the Lakers and the Blazers. A rematch of last year's dramatic Western Conference Final won by the Lakers. Back with the opening tip in a moment. Back in Los Angeles, ready to go. The Los Angeles Lakers finished the regular season 56-26, second seed in the West, 2 games behind San Antonio. Portland at 50-32 as they drop down to the number 7 seed. Rasheed Wallace, Scottie Pippen up front with Arvydas Sabonis at center. Damon Stoudemire, Steve Smith in the backcourt. Smith in the starting lineup these days in light of the injury suffered by Bonzi Wells. Rick Fox and Horace Grant up front. Grant sitting out that last regular season game because of problem with his knee. Shaquille O'Neal, who has been on a roll, is the starting center. And Kobe Bryant and Derek Fisher in the backcourt. The officials, Bernie Fryer, Don Vaden, and Bill Spooner.
Marv, I think when you take a look at this game, a couple things to watch. First of all, the Lakers have had no answer for Rasheed Wallace in the post. He's averaged 28 points in the 4 games. Obviously, Portland has no answers for Shaquille O'Neal. For the Lakers, 3-point shooting can be vital. They were 9 of 18 the last time these two teams got together. The team that has won the battle of the boards has won every game, so watch rebounding.
And a note to file away, since the NBA expanded to a 16-team playoff format back in 83-84, no number 7 seed has won a first-round series.
Well, you know the Blazers love to start out by going inside to Rasheed Wallace.
Fan of defense right at the start. Sabonis. Shot clock is down to 4. Stoudemire finds the opening. Rebounded by O'Neal. Kobe Bryant, who says his ankles are feeling much better, result of the 4 days between games. That certainly helped Kobe. Here's Shaq over Sabonis.
He is playing in a last season. Over 30 points in the last 11 games. His free throw shooting is up. He's got that bounce in his step back. He looks sensational.
And against Portland, he has averaged 30 points, 14 rebounds in the 4-game regular season set. Sabonis open. It is vital for Arvydas Sabonis to hit that outside shot. Scottie Pippen defending on Kobe Bryant, and a touch foul was called. Kobe went reeling.
Mark, you and I get a chance to see the Lakers all the time, and I saw Kobe today, had a chance to visit him a little bit. I have never seen him so happy this year. I mean, he just got married.
Yes.
And he's excited about that. He's healthy. He's emotionally revitalized and fresh. I have never seen the smile on his face this year like I saw this morning.
Rick Fox for three. Stoudemire on the loose ball, leading a 3-on-2, and he turns it over. There's Kobe, restricted by Wallace.
Kobe looked around. Where'd he come from?
Stoudemire. Wallace with a sensational tip.
Now, you just saw the best of Rasheed Wallace. A tremendous defensive sequence where he blocked Kobe's shot, and then he ran the floor with his speed with a great tip in. That's Rasheed at his best.
Getting back to Kobe, in effect, this is day 4 of his honeymoon. Right in the midst of the first-round playoff series. He did get married this past Wednesday to Vanessa Lane of Huntington Beach, California. They came engaged during last year's playoffs. Kind of a basketball theme here. Sabonis, well, he misses on his first 2 perimeter shots. Good play by Wallace on the back pass.
One of the things the Blazers have done well against the Lakers is offensive rebound.
Wallace not able to hit from downtown. Fox in the open floor. Fisher, who has played so well. Derek Fisher, who has made it back from injury, missed the first 62 games of the season. And then made his return March the 13th, coming back from the fractured right foot against the Boston Celtics. Doug, he comes up with career highs of 26 points and 6 steals.
Well, and actually he's only played 1 game against Portland this year, and he had 21 points. And really what I thought, Marv, was the difference in that game. He had 4 3-point shots, and this is what he has done since he has come back. He's given them that little spark offensively. We know his defensive contributions, but the offense has really been unexpected.
Foul. Portland has opened up 1 of 6 from the field.
And you can see they're helping Kobe defensively in the post on Steve Smith.
Pippen stepped out of bounds. Scottie Pippen very active here at the start. He has played in 199 playoff games, including today. Only Kareem Abdul-Jabbar has played in more.
Well, when I spoke to Scottie before the game, I said, Scottie, you were so aggressive last year in the Western Conference Finals against the Lakers. Will we see that today? And he said yes.
Shaq rejected. Shaq again. And the foul.
Shaquille is excited. Look at this up and under. Sabonis with good defense, but then the extra effort and just the power of Shaquille O'Neal. After he did this, he looked over at me like he wiped his brow.
I think it's
like,
looking at me.
like there, or maybe to you,
No,
and it's like there is more to come today.
It was clear. We have this on-court communication.
I see that. I could tell.
I think he was looking at our statistician, Elliot Calv, actually. Shaq, who hit 13 of 13 from the line in the final regular season game, is on a roll at the free throw strike. Lakers 7, Blazers 2. This time Shaq came out on Sabonis. Wallace off the double, comes up with air, and here's it from the crowd. Fisher. Yes.
Confidence is a beautiful thing, isn't it? When you get that feeling as an offensive player, you get into a rhythm, and that's exactly what Derek Fisher is doing right now.
Stoudemire somehow getting to that rebound and converting.
Well, I talked about offensive rebounding. I did not include Damon Stoudemire in that equation with the power rebound and the follow.
Lakers 9, Blazers 4. We're just underway. at Staples on a beautiful day in Los Angeles. 81 degrees outdoors, and the Lakers indoors on fire. Horace Grant extends to an 11-4 lead.
Looked like Rasheed Wallace thought that Horace Grant pushed him in the back on the play of that rebound.
Sabonis passing it up. Wallace for three. Yes.
This guy's got so much talent. During the regular season, the 4 games, he was 6 of 13 from the three-point line against the Lakers. So he's on an inside and outside.
Lakers lead by the count of 11-7. Jack with the drop step move. Back on March the 6th, the Blazers, who finished up at 50 and 32, were 42 and 18 on top of the West. They went on to lose 5 in a row, including back-to-back losses to the Vancouver Grizzlies. So since early March, they have gone 8 and 14. Interesting attempt by Shaquille, and the Lakers fortunate it was deflected out of bounds by the Blazers.
You know, it seems though, no matter what's going on with Portland, when they play the Lakers bring out the best in them. Right now, they've gotten off to a pretty decent start. They're hanging around, down only 4.
Welcome back to Los Angeles. We're talking about the troubles of the Portland Trailblazers. Remember, earlier this season, this Blazer club had a 10-game winning streak, as I mentioned, back on the 6th of March, 42 and 18 to lead the Western Conference. Since then, they're right there with Golden State of Vancouver.
Well, you know, Marv, the interesting thing is, Jim Gray's report before the ball game talking about a little skirmish that went on with Scotty and Detlef Schrempf, in practice. It's been my experience as a player and a coach. That's a very testy time. Regardless of whether your team has gone through turmoil or not, guys get feisty, starting to think about the playoffs. I've seen fights. I've been involved in things like that. I don't think that will affect Portland. But all the other things that have happened all season, if they can overcome that, that would be amazing.
And Kobe Bryant is fouled. As Jim reported on several skirmishes this week, including Rasheed Wallace, as you see Kobe on the drive, feeling the contact. Wallace trying to get at head coach Mike Dunleavy. Now, you think back in other sports, the Yankees of the 70s, the Mets of the 80s, Oakland A's of the 60s, with all kinds of problems going on and teammates fighting with each other. But those teams did win.
Yes. And you know what? This is a golden opportunity for Portland. They can put that all behind themselves if they can find a way to win this series. I think this first game is so vital for them, because if they could win today, it would galvanize this team. It would bring them together. A loss, and you don't know what direction they'll go, Marv.
Kobe Bryant. It's 1 out of 2, and the Lakers are up by the score of 12-7.
So I think they've got to get Scottie Pippen involved here a little bit. They need him to score some points, especially with Bonzi Wells being out of the lineup. Scottie's got to be more aggressive on the offense.
And Dale Davis has come on for Arvydas Sabonis, and is not a factor here at the start. Foul against the Lakers. It's on Shaq. That is his first. Blazers try to get Sabonis involved from the perimeter right at the start. Shaq did not come out to greet that first shot, but Sabonis 0 for 2 from the field. And he's been replaced by Dale Davis. He almost takes lots of time at the free throw line. Well, a reminder, you can log on to MSNBCSports.com for in-depth playoff coverage. And a close-up look at the key players who must come up big, plus Matt Lucas and Steve Jones will predict. They'll have it for you, the first-round winners, and you can check out Bill Walton's things to watch. And email him your playoff questions, all at MSNBCSports.com. As we mentioned last week, I think all of Bill's emails are carefully screened. Bill's very sensitive. Don't want to hurt his feelings. Shot clock is down to 5. Kobe with the runner. Grant able to get get to that loose ball.
See, the importance of Kobe Bryant, when that shot clock is going down, and they have not gotten the ball inside to Shaquille O'Neal, he can break the defense down. Two guys come over. He doesn't make the shot, but you get the offensive rebound because nobody blocks out Horace Grant.
Off the deflection. Here comes Kobe. The look away for Grant, and he finishes. Lakers very effective in pushing the ball.
Mark, with Dale Davis in the game, watch now Shaquille O'Neal. He's going to try to hang around that basket as much as he can because he's not going to honor the outside shot.
Stoudemire, he was met by Shaquille, so he pitched it out, and Steve Smith knocks down the three.
Well, he's so vital now for them. He started early in the year, as you talked about, Marv, coming out of the Olympics, got a little tired, got a little sick, came off the bench, actually played better off the bench, but now he's going to be big as a starter. They really miss Bonzi Wells.
Shaquille again with the drop step and the tip.
That's 3 offensive rebounds now by Horace Grant. Now, when he starts getting you 6, 8, 10, 12 points early in the game, Portland cannot live with that. They can go with Kobe and Shaq scoring, but not Horace.
Fast start for Grant. 8 points, 4 rebounds. Stoudemire. O'Neal quick to the ball, beating Davis on the box out. Lakers up 18-11 as we come up on 4 minutes remaining in this first quarter. Kobe Bryant for Rick Fox. And again, it's
Horace Grant. This is the best I've seen him play for the Lakers. And you know what? We talked to him early in the year, and he says, I hate to admit it, I did pace myself a little bit. I want to be ready for this moment, and it looks like he is.
10 points for Grant, 5 rebounds, and the Lakers with a 20-11 lead. Wallace with the step and fouled by Grant.
Now, it's going to be very important that Horace Grant has gotten off to a great start, that Robert Horry, when he comes into the game, plays with that same kind of aggressiveness. Who is blocking out Horace Grant? He's getting to the offensive boards. Those are gimme baskets. You've got to force the Lakers, other players, to work hard for their scores, and Portland right now is not doing a good job with that.
And Wallace getting the treatment. Set out the final game of the regular season, drawing that suspension off the towel incident and the melee in the locker room. Rasheed with 41 technical fouls in all, surpassing his own NBA record of 38 that he set last year. These are not pretty numbers. Ejected 7 times, suspended 3 times, 2 for throwing a towel earlier in the season at a referee, and then threw one in the face of Arvydas Sabonis in the game that we saw last week here.
You know, Marv, they have a flagrant foul rule where you get a certain amount of points and you get suspended. I could see the NBA legislating X number of technical fouls and you get suspended for a game, because I don't think that they like what has happened this year. I think you might see something legislated in the offseason with that. Incidentally,
Sabonis says he and Wallace have talked things over. Derek Fisher on fire. He's 3 for 3 from the field. Sabonis says they have repaired what has been a shaky relationship. Says that he understands Wallace's blow-up came, as he put it, in the heat of the battle. Off the steal. Bryant, a run, Stoudemire, and puts it down, but it won't count. The foul is called at 3/4 court. Good foul by Stoudemire.
Yeah, it was, because they're not in the penalty yet. They'll be sideline out of bounds, and Stoudemire did the right thing. You do not want Kobe to get these kind of electric plays on the fast break. There's where the foul occurred. Phil Jackson said, I want that to go. That's incidental contact, which next year it will be.
Just under 3 remaining in this first quarter. Fisher for 3. O'Neal. And a foul is called on the Blazers with Don Davis. Timeout taken, 2:51 remaining in the first. Lakers by 10. Marv Albert, Doug Collins, Jim Gray at Staples in Los Angeles. What a start for Horace Grant. 10 points, 5 for 5 from the field, for the most part on tip-ins. has done his damage around the basket. 5 rebounds for Hart.
Well, you want him to give you hustle plays. Play strong defense against Rasheed. Get out and run the floor. Get on the break. Get some easy things, easy opportunities. And that's exactly what Horace has done. Took the last game of the regular season off to rest that knee. You see pretty good percentage area right there, Marv. I think I might be able to get a couple of those to go down.
Oh, are we talking about joining?
There you go. Maybe. Hey, what the heck? You know, if they give me those kind of shots, I can still score.
I think you've been talking too much to a guy who is looking to come back. He's got you going.
I told you, 50 in July, okay? I told you that yesterday.
Right. Doesn't matter. It's how you feel. How about Michael changing the percentage? It's no longer 99.9. Did you say 85 now?
I didn't hear that report.
All right. It's like players not reading the newspapers.
Marv, that's why I hang around with you. You always keep me abreast of what's going on.
The important stuff. Well, Shaquille O'Neal, who hit 13 out of 13 in the final regular season, and then hit his first here this evening, finally misses. So 14 straight. Misses 2.
See, Portland's got to think here in the last 250 of this quarter. You know, they've been badly outplayed here. Get a couple defensive stops, get this to 4 or 6 points, and they've been able to withstand this surge, this energy that this crowd has. You know, the Staples Center normally very quiet. As you and I were rehearsing to go on air, they were watching the end of the Sacramento-Phoenix game on the overhead screen, cheering for Phoenix, understanding that Sacramento gives them more problems than Phoenix. So normally a scene you don't see here in L.A.
Illegal defense call for the first time. Yes, the Suns over the Kings, 86-83, led by Sean Marion, 21 and 10. Kept alive by Davis in the first of our playoff tripleheader. The Knicks defeated the Raptors, 92-85. At Madison Square Garden, led by Allen Houston with 23. Rasheed Wallace. He's been the offense, 10 points for Wallace.
He has to come up huge. He has to take 25 shots today. He's got to get 30 points for his team to win.
2 minutes remaining in this first quarter. Now Grant from the outside. He's going in from all angles. Horace is 6 for 6.
Horace having a Bulls flashback here, I think, of 92.
Horace Grant, 35 years old, in his 14th NBA season out of Clemson. Wallace, yes.
This guy has so much talent. I know we talk about it, the shooting touch, how easy he makes the game look. It's incredible what he can do out on that floor.
One more point concerning Rasheed Wallace and Arvydas Sabonis off the problem last week. That will count on the foul. Foul called on Davis. Rasheed also criticized Sabonis for not standing up to Shaquille O'Neal in that Laker win here last Sunday.
See, what happened was, through all of that, twice, I think, in the previous week, Sabonis had accidentally caught Wallace. He'd gotten his tooth chipped. He'd been hit in the face a couple other times. And it all just added up. And, you know, it doesn't take much for Rasheed to lose his temper. Now, that's exactly what happened last weekend.
You ever have a player come after you?
Marv, I probably had a lot of them come after me. I just could run. But that's all. I just got away from them. No, I really haven't. No.
That's very, very unusual.
Yeah.
And away from the ball, foul against the Lakers. A holding foul, says Don Kobe. That's his first. And now Will Perdue is checked in.
Well, Will Perdue knows that what he's got to try to do is take away Shaquille O'Neal's layups. You can't let him catch the ball and lay the ball in the basket. Use his fouls. Shaquille is going to rest now, so you can see what Phil has done. As Will Perdue has come in, he's not an offensive threat. He'll come in with Madsen, so choosing the time now to rest Shaquille.
Will Perdue played for Phil Jackson in Chicago. Appeared in only 13 games during the regular season for the Blazers. And Madsen with the rebound with just under 1 minute remaining in this first quarter. Madsen up front now with Grant and Fox. Brian Fisher in the backcourt. Nice ball movement at Fisher. He's on fire. 4 for 5. He has 9 points.
Portland is not doing a good job disrupting the rhythm of the Laker offense. The Lakers are doing whatever they want to do. Get it inside, get open jump shots. Rhythm has been the key this first period.
Confusion between Stoudemire and Perdue, and deflected out by Fisher.
This is a matchup that's critical. Derek Fisher and Stoudemire. When I talked to Phil Jackson before the game, he said he's got to control his penetration. He can't let him get in the lane. He's done a wonderful job here in the first period, and his shooting, as you talked about, Mark, 4 out of 5.
And Mike Dunleavy makes a change with Shaq sitting down. He changes his mind on Purdue. Sabonis back in, trying to take advantage with Shaquille O'Neal on the bench. Here's Pippen around Matson. Scottie Pippen, yes.
Is that the first shot attempt by Scottie?
Yes.
They've got to get him involved. I know Scottie likes to play the total game, but they need him to put the pressure on the defense.
Lakers holding for a final shot of this first quarter. They're up by 11. Bryant. Matson. And last touch by the Blazers. So the Lakers still in possession with 4 seconds to go in this first quarter.
See, Sabonis tried to draw the attention of the referee that he got fouled, that somebody hit his arm, and he just let the ball go out of bounds. So you have to pick and choose, Marv, when you're going to try to bait that official into getting that foul.
Here's Kevin George. He's played well the last couple of weeks coming off the bench for the Lakers, and a one-time Laker Antonio Harvey recently activated, checking in here for the final seconds of the quarter. Sabonis departs, as does Matson.
Now this is where you want to get the ball to Kobe. 4.1 seconds and let him go with it.
Well, Fox takes the 3. So Portland, 7 of 18 from the field, just 39%. The Lakers hitting their shots 13 for 25. Grant and Fisher with 21 of the Lakers' 30 points. A solid start by the defending champion Los Angeles Lakers. After one, they lead the Trailblazers 30-19. You're watching the NBA playoffs on NBC. Right at the end of the first quarter, looked like Kobe came up hobbling. Looks to be his hip. You see it right here.
Yeah, it's like up on his side. You see him as he holds it. I don't know if he was, cutting and maybe he just pulled something, but I think it's going to be okay. He was iced it all during that timeout.
Let's check in with Jim Gray. Has this report from the bench.
All right, Marv. Well, during that timeout, Gary Vitti was attending to Kobe Bryant, and the Lakers are telling us that it's just above his hip and below his rib cage. He's having a little bit trouble breathing. Not exactly sure what he did to it, but he put some ice just below his chest and his rib cage, and he's going to continue out on the court. Marv?
All right, Jim. Kobe back from the strained left ankle, sore left foot, and all sat out 9 games. And set back by a number of injuries during the course of this season.
He still looks a little gimpy out there.
Robert Horry just checked in, had it knocked away by Scottie Pippen. Here's Stacey Augmon.
You could see it defensively that time. Kobe could not slide over and stop the penetration of Stacey Augmon as he went to the basket. Now, Robert Horry has got to get involved in this game right now. Horace Grant got them off to a great start, and they need him sort of against Rasheed Wallace.
First turnover by the Lakers. Fisher draws the foul. Robert Horry last week hit that huge three-pointer with a shade over a minute remaining in the fourth quarter.
Now, Kobe is all-league defense last year, the youngest player to ever make first team, and you see him just does not have the lateral movement, sort of opens up and ushers him to the basket. He comes out there very gingerly. So these are how playoff series change, Marv, as you know. A key injury to a player or something that slows one of your stars down, and it can change the whole series. So we'll have to keep our eye on Kobe.
Kobe Bryant taking a seat, replaced by Brian Shaw. Now Kobe headed back to the Laker locker room. Rod Strickland now in the backcourt with Stacey Augmon, Arvydas Sabonis up front with Rasheed Wallace and Scottie Pippen. Nice play, and Pippen is fouled. Pippen cutting was slashed by Shaw.
See, with Sabonis out on the floor, it opens up the middle. We see Kobe going back with the one of the trainers there, Chip Schaefer, to get looked at, but when Sabonis is on the floor, Marv, what it does, it opens up the middle because Shaquille has to come out. So you can get that cutting action. That time Scottie came right around the screen, got to the front of the rim, and got the nice pass. I don't think Scottie looks healthy right now. He looks like he is not shooting the ball comfortably.
Well, Doug, he's back from surgery on on his right elbow. Do you think that it has affected his shot?
I do, because I've watched him defensively, and when he tries to get his hand in the passing angle, he's using his left arm to deflect. He's not using his right arm at all defensively.
Lakers up 31-22. Second quarter just underway. Shaq up front with Fox and Ori, Shaw and Fisher in the backcourt. Here's Shaw with 3 on the 24. Brian Shaw had an outstanding game last week against the Trailblazers.
How about the Game 7 in the Western Conference Finals? This guy, the three-pointers he hit that totally changed that game. He banked one in at the end of the third period, hit 3 more in the fourth period that broke the Trailblazers' heart and gave the Lakers the Western Conference Championship.
Deflected, no backcourt violation. However, down to 5 on the shot clock. Wallace stepped out. Look out. That was a gentle toss by Rasheed. Crowd calling for a technical. So Sabonis is back on defending against O'Neal. Here's the double. Pippen over. Good help by Pippen. Strickland. And he is fouled by Fisher.
When Rod Strickland is at his best, he is taking that ball inline to inline and really putting the pressure on the defense. He's got a nice little medium-range jump shot, and Derek Fisher tried to block at that time. Now Rod Strickland has got to get to the line and give them something. Stoudemire got off to a slow start, 1 of 5. Smith was 1 of 3, so the starting guards 2 of 8 in that first period.
Tomorrow on NBC, it's Weakest Link. It's the new game that has certainly taken the nation, says here, by storm. Don't miss all new Weakest Link. That's Monday, 8 o'clock, 7 Central on NBC. Doug, I get that look from you every time.
Because every time I see you read that, I know you're thinking about Jim Gray, and that's why I do that. Yes, I do.
You see the correlation?
I see it. I see it.
Loose ball foul. It is on Altman. That's his first.
Marv?
Yes, is that? I hear a
Marv, I'm with you this week.
A haunting voice in the background. They've left.
And Doug, we'll have the microphone all next year.
I know that.
Jack. And rebounded by Wallace. Nice play.
Now, what a great fast break. Stacey Augmon threw the ball ahead, and then Scotty read it and dropped it back to him perfectly. Stacey Augmon has given him a very nice lift off the bench with his energy, giving him a couple baskets. And all of a sudden, the Blazers creeping back to this game.
Phil Jackson wants to talk it over. 9:16 remaining in this first half. Good breakout play. Finished off by Augmon. We'll be right back.
7, but there is some concern right now. Kobe Bryant is back in the locker room. He's being attended to by Dr. Lombardo and by the training staff of the Lakers. Here's the play right here. He runs into Rasheed Wallace. He hurt his left side of his ribs. He was having trouble running, trouble breathing, wincing a little bit, couldn't get up and down on the courts. They took him back into the locker room. As of now, we're told by John Black, the PR director for the Lakers, they are not sure whether or not Kobe will return. We will know after he's examined fully by the doctor. Marv?
All right, thank you very much, Jim. Unfortunately for the Lakers, this has been a familiar story. Rick Fox shooting the 3. Kobe Bryant has had an injury-plagued season. Pippen trying to get it to Augmon again on the cut. This time did not work. We've played 3 minutes of the second quarter. Lakers up by 7. Augmon saw the opening. And then try to change the shot with Shaquille O'Neal stepping in his path.
Well, Mike Dudley, be upset. Felt like he was fouled on that play. Looked like he got it banged in the hip.
Well, that is a scoreless streak for the Lakers. They had missed their last 7 shots.
Well, remember the last time we saw these two teams last week? Robert Horry hits a big 3 from the corner in a 1-point game that gives them the 4-point lead. They go on and win that game. So he is vital to that outside shot.
Strickland Rod Strickland, who came over from your Washington Wizards and appeared in just 21 games during the regular season for Portland, has not really gotten into it. In fact, ever since, not to say, as we discussed last week, it's been Strickland's fault, but it seemed they went into a tailspin when yet another piece was added to this roster. Here's Kobe Bryant making his way back toward the bench.
Well, just to follow up on that Rod Strickland, he has been really very quiet and has said nothing there in Portland. I think, Marv, the key thing there as we see Kobe coming back onto the court with the support of the crowd in the background is that he did give them one more piece, something they did not need. They already had enough, and really too much really has hurt this team.
Foul is called on Shaw. All right, let's get back to Jim Gray. Jim?
All right, as you just saw Kobe Bryant back out on the court, he was examined by Dr. Lombardo. They've determined it's a bruised rib. They wrapped it up. He's going to attempt to play. You see him coming into the game right now. He will be X-rayed at halftime, but he wants to see if he can get out and play a little. Marv?
All right, so Kobe will try to play through it. I mentioned earlier that he feels his ankles are fine now that they've been strengthened as a result of the 4-day rest between games. Derek Fisher also hearing it from the crowd as he sits down. Derek, 4 for 5 from the field, 10 points in all.
You know, when you play and you get all warmed up like Kobe has, the one thing you don't want to do is cool down. That's when that injury stiffens up. So the thing for him, the sooner he can get out there and play, the better it will be for him.
They double Shaq. Low percentage pass looking for George. Strickland on the recovery. And the Blazers looking for a foul, looking for a tripping call. Sabonis with the run. Yes.
Now Portland's defense has gotten much better. The rhythm the Lakers were in that first period now has been disrupted. The Lakers had no turnovers in the first period. That's how smooth they were, their offense. Portland finally getting some turnovers.
3-second violation. So the ball back to the Blazers, who are in the midst of a 13-4 run.
Look at Sabonis, and here's Shaq. That's why he is so important. If Shaq is going to hang out underneath the basket, then the big guy has got to make him pay by hitting that open jump shot.
The Lakers have led by as many as 13. It's now a 4-point game. 5 minutes gone by in the second quarter. Here's Augman, got the step. It counts, and the foul. Stacey Augman continues to provide a lift for the Portland Trailblazers.
Well, in the absence of Bonzi Wells, somebody's got to give him some points, as Scottie Pippen really not been very aggressive offensively. Remember now, when he was in Atlanta, he averaged about 14 points a game there in his season, so he has been a proven scorer, and he's a very difficult player to defend. Marv, he's a lefty, so you're not used to him beating you with a left hand, and he's unorthodox around the basket.
Smith surprising Bryant, but knocked it out of bounds.
Lakers have lost a little concentration here, and Portland is getting excited. This is a play. This is a loss of concentration right there. You've got to expect the defensive player to be coming up behind you.
Blazers going with light pressure now. It's a 1-point game. A 16-4 spurt by Portland. Shaq with a power move. Came up short. Here's Strickland leading the break. Smith for 3. Rebound, Sabonis lost the handle. Sabonis on the recovery. And the Blazers have come from 13 down to take a 1-point lead.
Well, Shaq never got back the other end of the floor. Sabonis beat him down the court.
First time that Portland has led. Coming up on 6 minutes remaining in this first half. Kept alive by Ori. Ori passing on the 3 was wide open. Here's the double on Shaq. We get a whistle as the Blazers are looking for a travel. It is Sabonis called for a foul.
Now Shaquille is going to go to the basket here. He's going to try to power it up, and he misses the dunk. And what happens is he never gets back to the other end of the floor. Who runs and beats him? Arvydas Sabonis. Shaq slow getting back. Even he mishandles it, gets it back the second time, and gets the basket. The Blazers by 1.
The last 10, they finished in turmoil, so how do they approach the playoffs? We talked about that with Scottie Pippen.
Teams teams in our position normally don't survive long in the playoff. We may be able to steal a game here, but I think we still realize that we were one of the top teams in the league last season, and that we've been one of the top teams in the league this season, and that we can definitely recapture our confidence in the style of basketball that we need to play to win this series.
Well, Marv, when we spoke to Scotty, I think he knows how important this first game is. If the Blazers can find a way to win this game, it will change the whole way they feel about this series. And the Lakers know that. They know how vital it is to win. All the players have talked about that first game, getting out, especially in a 5-game series. You've already seen Philadelphia lose the first game. You've seen Sacramento. Portland would like to do the same thing here today.
They'll play game 2 here in Los Angeles on Thursday night, game 3 at the Rose Garden in Portland next Sunday afternoon. Dale Davis called for the foul, his third. A look at the series schedule. Next Sunday, once again on NBC.
Well, the Blazers know they've got to win one of the first 2. They cannot lose 2 here and expect to win 3 in a row in a 5-game series.
Kobe Bryant trying that long-range attempt. He's 0 for 4 from the field. Lakers now 1 for their last 11. That goes back to the first quarter, and that one field goal was the 3 by Robert Horry. Strickland getting the step. Detlef Schrempf checked in for the first time. Down to 3 on the shot clock. Here's Schrempf. Schrempf to the left hand and draws the foul with 1 remaining on the 24.
A very fortunate break there for Portland as that clock was working against them. Detlef Schrempf realizes it and really threw just a sort of a wild shot at the basket, but the hand on the hip by Horry, he's got Shaq waiting right back there for him. He can't take that foul, and Scottie Pippen giving the vocal encouragement to his team. Detlef Schrempf, who he had a little bit of a skirmish with in the practices coming into it, realizing that, you know what, you put all that behind you, we win the game. That's what it's about right now.
Mike Dunleavy going deep into his rotation here today with both Purdue and Schrempf getting playing time. Rasheed Wallace makes his return. Lakers come back with Horace Grant, Rick Fox, Eric Fisher.
Now, Horace Grant was such a key for them in that first period. 6 of 6 from the floor. He had 4 offensive rebounds. Did a nice job against Rasheed Wallace. He's been sitting over there for a while. How long will it take you, Mark, to get right back into the swing of things after a great start?
Detlef Schrempf, an 85% free throw shooter this season in limited action, missing on both. Blazers up 35 to 34. Here's Kobe Bryant with a nice pass. Shaq could not put it down. Strickland with a gorgeous move to split his way through.
That's vintage Rod Strickland.
Blazers now lead 37-34.
See how scrambled the Lakers are on offense right now, Marv. Remember the rhythm they had in that first period? Look how disjointed they are right now.
Kobe looking for his first field goal, drew the double. Here's Kobe on a crossover, and he's rejected by Wallace. Here comes Strickland, moving on Fox, and stripped by Fox. Good save by Fox, and then Strickland gets it back. But Don Baden says a foul on Fox.
The energy that Portland now is playing with, you see the concern on the face of Phil Jackson. This game has taken a 180 turn, and it's been the bench of the Portland Trailblazers. Rod Strickland, the gorgeous crossover and the finish. Stacey Augmon has been terrific off the bench. So they have gone to their bench and got a huge lift and changed the momentum of this game.
Strickland a 75% free throw shooter. Doug, you go back late first quarter, and it's now a 21-4 spurt by the Blazers. Ryan Shaw replacing Rick Fox, who had just picked up his third foul. Rick is 0 for 4 from the field. Kobe Bryant 0 for 4.
Well, you see what Rod Strickland has done today, plus 15 in the game, minus 11. A lot like the numbers we saw with a great point guard yesterday, John Stockton.
What a magnificent
I've never seen him better. I've never seen him better. 18
assists for Stockton in the come from behind victory over the Mavericks. Here's Horace Grant continuing his perfection. 7 for 7, 14 points.
Well, with Kobe Bryant struggling to score, and with Rick Fox not having a field goal, Horace Grant has been the guy who stepped up and taken up the slack.
Blazers 39 and the Lakers 36. Just under 4 minutes remaining in the first half. Oh, the steal by Cole. On the left hit by Shrimp. And that injured hip is hurting even more. I don't know if Detlef even realized that was...
He didn't, but what happens is this a clear path? Is Kobe in front of him with the basketball? The referee rules that he's beside him. You see Kobe grab that side and obviously in pain. What Phil Jackson wanted was clear path, 1 free throw and the ball. What they're going to get is 2 free throws on a loose ball foul.
Kobe an 85% free throw shooter. That's only his second point. Scottie Pippen returns, replacing Detlef Schrempf.
Say, Marv, it's interesting. You look at Kobe as he gets to the free throw line. If I'd say to you, Marv, okay, Shaq and Kobe are 3 for 17, and Rick Fox does not have a field goal. And if Kobe makes it, the Lakers are down only 1. You'd say, how does that happen? The reason is because Horace Grant has played so well and given him some points.
Yes, Grant with 14. Fisher has 10. Shaq is just 3 for 12. 1-point lead for the Blazers with 3.5 remaining in the half. Smith missed the tip. And Horace Grant with rebound number 6. Here's Kobe for Shaq and a foul. Foul on Wallace.
Kobe is fearless. Even though his side is bothering him, you do not see him backing away. He's putting the pressure on the defense, really giving a lot of courage to his team as he's attacking that Portland front line. That time he set up his teammate Shaq.
And you can see that Kobe Bryant is in pain. 3 of 4 at the line. Next Saturday, another NBA playoff tripleheader starting at 12 noon Eastern time. First up, the scene will shift to Indianapolis as Reggie Miller and the Pacers host Allen Iverson and the 76ers out west, Dallas and Utah. And the Blazers taking on the defending champion Lakers in crucial game 3s of their series. NBA playoff tripleheader next Saturday, 12 noon Eastern, right here on NBC. Scottie Pippen, yes. So Pippen has taken just 2 shots. He's hit both.
Interestingly enough, he and Horace Grant now playing each other. Flashback for me, I was in Chicago and both of those guys were drafted as rookies.
Derek Fisher draws the foul. The Blazers looking for a charge. And a timeout has been called with 2:59 remaining in this first half. When we come back, Fisher will go to the line. Lakers down by 1. Have you had any conversations with potential Washington Wizard Charles Barkley?
Well, you know, Charles and I both live in Scottsdale. I'm waiting for him to join me with my workouts on the exercise bike. If he can keep up with me, then we'll start talking.
Oh, that will be the test.
There you go. But, you know, to follow up on what PJ was talking about there, Marv, the bench has changed this game for Portland. There was such a rhythm to the Laker offense. They were coming off getting good shots. Horace was offensive rebounding. Fisher got off to a great start. Rod Strickland came in, Stacey Augmon, and they really upped the level of their defense. Shaq has got nothing easy around the basket. And then what's happened is Portland has now gotten out and run on the break and gotten some fast breaks. So the tempo of this game has changed, and he's been a big part of it, Stacey Augmon.
Tremendous job by Augmon and Strickland. 7 points for Stacey Augmon, hit 3 of 4 from the field. Rod Strickland, 8 points, able to get to the foul line. 4 for 6 from the line by Strickland. Lakers have taken a 1-point lead. They've led by as many as 13. Came out looking very sharp. Here's Smith. Antonio Harvey able to keep it alive.
Gives them another aggressive offensive rebounder and more fouls on Shaq if they need them.
Here's Smith, losing. Knocked out of bounds by the Lakers. The Lakers in the second quarter have shot just 2 for 13.
Most of them have been on the perimeter. They have not gotten the ball inside, and Shaq's shots have all been contested. 2-3 guys swarming him.
Harvey not looking for the shot. Now forced into the shot because he was wide open. Scottie Pippen very much into it defensively.
What's going to happen in the last 2:30 of this half?
Fisher battling with Stoudemire and drew the foul. It's on Stoudemire. Both teams over the foul limit. For Damon Stoudemire, that is his second. These are very difficult times for Mike Dunleavy, as we discussed earlier, with the season considered to be so promising, possibly blowing up in his face. How hard is it for Mike to be coaching this team at this moment?
Oh, it's so hard. Mike and I go back a long time now. He and I were teammates together in Philadelphia. He's been a friend of mine for a long, long time, and his son now plays at Duke, and my son Chris is down there with him, and I love Mike, and you can see on his face how pained he is. I mean, he loves this game, and he loves to teach it. And for all this to be happening, really takes it out of you, Marv. It really does.
You know, Doug, during the course of the season, and the players applauded the move, he pulled it back, allowed the Blazers to go out and play, and they appreciated it. It turns out it did not work.
No, players need direction. They want to tell you that they just want to play, as we see Horace Grant with a foul, but they need direction. You don't mind give players freedom as long as they don't abuse it. And the Portland did not handle the freedom very well, and Mike had to take the control back.
Well, he has been put in such a difficult situation. Blazers, an example of, and this was the case last year, you can have too many quality players. An 8-man rotation usually works. The other 4 have to accept that they're not going to play.
The only way it doesn't work is when you lose. Because when you're winning, you really can't say anything or you're selfish. But look at you started out, and then look at the finish that they had. You can see it start to slip in February, March your 500 month, and then April 3 and 7. So 10 and 14 to finish the season. And if they can turn this and beat the Lakers, who are now playing their best basketball, what a miracle that will be.
And we have seen where playoffs serve to rally a team that has struggled through adversity throughout the season. That's why this game is so significant to the Blazers. You forget about the fact that the Lakers had a couple of problems along the way. They are dwarfed by what happened to the Portland Trailblazers. Kobe has to fire one as he lost the grip. And here's Grant. Oh, rejected. That's his first miss. Pippen taking it to the bucket. It counts, and the foul.
That's Scottie Pippen right there. When he gets to that open court and can slash. I remember when he played with Chicago, like a 6'8" point guard, pushing that ball up the floor, the long arms, the ability to take that ball up and under and finish. Gets the foul, the opportunity now for the three-point play. Blazers trying to get back or hang into this game here at halftime as the Lakers trying to make a surge, and Portland will not go away.
Game is tied at 44 by virtue of the three-point play by Scottie Pippen. A minute and a half remaining in this first half. Shaw met by Wallace, able to go glass. Brian Shaw with his first field goal to give the Lakers a 2-point lead.
Brian Shaw loves to play against Portland.
Yes, had the strong game last Sunday here at Staples. Wallace able to recover on the deflection. Stoudemire off balance, but puts it in.
Finally gets something to go. He had really struggled, not gotten any rhythm. You have to give Fisher a lot of credit, and Strickland was big coming in, so now maybe they'll get something from Stoudemire the second time around.
Lakers and Blazers tied at 46. Fisher for 3. Yes. Derek Fisher, 5 for 6 from the field. He has 17 points. He's the high man for the Lakers in this first half.
The combo, the 1-2 combo has been Fisher and Horace Grant.
And Fisher called for the foul. Attempting to draw the charge. That's 3 on Derek.
See, they're going to do a lot of roaming defensively, Portland, so the open shot is going to be there. Fisher is really taking advantage of that. And then he follows it up, but Stoudemire tries to put the pressure on him. Now, he's a lefty going to his right. Fisher normally does a very good job of getting over there and taking that charge. Didn't quite get there. Stoudemire now after hitting a jumper gets to the free throw line, trying to work himself back into this game.
So Fisher sits down after picking up his third. Here's Tyronn Lue checking in. He was excited earlier this week when he was told that he made the playoff roster, as did Ron Harper, who probably will not be available till later in this series. Ron back from that, there he is, arthroscopic knee surgery. Missed the final 34 games of the season, but Phil Jackson going with Lou and Hopper over J.R. Ryder and Mike Penberthy, who was very disappointed.
Well, Penberthy gives them excellent shooting, but they were concerned defensively about all the quick guards in the point guards in the Western Conference. As once again, Brian Shaw high off the glass. So they made the decision feeling that Lou can do exactly what he's doing right now. Get up the floor and pressure the basketball.
The Lakers have a 3-point lead, 15 seconds remaining in the half. Blazers holding for a final shot on this first half. Stoudemire played very well by Lou, had a force. Here's Kobe. So the Lakers with a 51-48 lead at the half here in Los Angeles. They led by as many as 13, the Blazers getting back into it. Coming up, Ahmad, Kevin, and DJ in our New York studio. Charles Barkley will be on hand. You're watching the NBA playoffs on Holding. There's a little skirmish going on. Rasheed Wallace had to be restrained by his coach, Mike Dunleavy. Wallace was hit with a technical foul.
Mark, I was watching what was happening as Rasheed was walking off at halftime. He and Bill Spooner start talking, and I don't know what was said, but it triggered something in Rasheed, and he went over to Spooner and got the technical foul. So I don't know what was said. It looked like everything was peaceful. They were walking in at halftime, and then something triggered Rasheed. But let's watch what happens here. He throws the ball up in the air like that, and as he's walking away, he says something to Bill Spooner as he's walking over, and then something triggers him. You see Strickland or Stoudemire trying to get in there.
And Doug, an example of how out of control Rasheed Wallace is. He could have been tossed right there.
No question. I mean, and they played so well. You've got to leave that alone.
All right, we'll be hearing from the studio in just a moment. The explosion by Rasheed Wallace, who set an NBA record during the regular season with 41 technical fouls. And certainly questions about Kobe's physical status after taking a couple of shots in the hip.
Well, you look at the numbers. I mean, Kobe 0 of 7 in the first half. Shaq 3 of 12. Rick Fox 0 of 4. Those guys 3 for 23, and they still lead by 3 thanks to Derek Fisher and Horace Grant, who combined for 31 on 12 of 14 shooting, Marv.
All right, Fisher and Bryant in the backcourt. O'Neal, Grant, and Fox up front. Horace Grant. Rebounded by Shaquille O'Neal, and he is fouled. Let's check in with Jim Gray. Here's Jim.
All right, well, during halftime, they re-examined Kobe. Decided not to take an x-ray. The doctor was sufficiently as nothing cracked or broken. They retaped it, put a little pad on. Kobe says he's feeling okay, not 100%, but he's going to continue and gut it out. Mark?
All right, Jim. Shaq is now 5 for 7 from the line. See the numbers on Kobe. Shaquille just 3 of 12 from the field.
Mark, we talk about the woes of the Laker offense. 3 of 13 shooting for Steve Smith and Damon Stoudemire, 2 of their key weapons offensively. So those guys have to come out in this third period and pick up their pace.
Blazers shot 46% for the half. Lakers just 41% after the good start. Stoudemire trying to use the pick. Sabonis, like O'Neal got a piece of it. Kobe definitely favoring that hit.
Yes, he is.
Pass intended for Bryant, who was cutting. Stoudemire around Bryant, met by Grant and fouled.
That was one of the big concerns. When I spoke to Phil Jackson before the game, he said, we have got to keep Damon Stoudemire from breaking down our defense. You see a shot of Phil there, but this is exactly what happens. When he gets in the lane, now he creates all kinds of problems, throws himself into Horace Grant, and will get to the free throw line. And Marv, the key, when you're an offensive player and you're struggling to hit outside shots, drive that ball, maybe get a layup. More important, get to the free throw line, work yourself back into the game with some easy baskets or getting to that foul line.
Grant, his third. Damon Stoudemire has done very well against the Lakers, averaging 17 a game, 6 assists, The absence of Derek Fisher earlier in the season defending on David Stoudemire a factor with Fisher sidelined by that injury. So Damon has 8 points. And the Lakers now lead by 2. They led by as many as 13 points, had that drought in the second quarter. Blazers did lead momentarily. Kobe looking very stiff with his movement. And here's O'Neal. He has really been off.
Well, if Kobe is not right offensively, then Scottie Pippen can really roam and cause problems in for Shaq in the post. That's why it's important for Kobe to play well.
Rasheed Wallace with 14 points, and the game is tied at 52. This is game 1 of the best of 5. Game 2 here in Los Angeles on Thursday. Game 3 in Portland next Sunday afternoon. Kobe fires and it hits.
Big basket there for Kobe Bryant. He has got to get himself back into this game. I know he's injured, but he's got to find a way to fight through this. And, you know, Mark, we've talked so much today about the Portland dysfunction, all they've gone through now. Without the 8-game winning streak here by the Lakers, they've had a lot of problems this year, too. If the Lakers lose today, what would happen to all that harmony they have? We don't know what will happen with that either.
There has been all kinds of subplots with this team as Kobe is turmoil involving Kobe and Shaq, Phil Jackson and Kobe Bryant. Here's Stoudemire with a quick shot.
That was a bad shot there. It was contested. Nobody rebounding.
Bryant feeling it. You look at it, Doug, these are two fragile ball players.
Yes, they are.
And isn't it incredible what one win can do to just change the climate?
Well, remember now, last week when we were here with 1:59 to go in the game, Portland was up 1 and were shut out the rest of the way. Robert Horry hits a big 3, Shaq scores, and they go on to win the game. But if Portland wins that game, they're 3-1 against the Lakers this year, even with all the problems they have. So the Lakers tend to bring out the best in the Blazers.
Shot clock is down to 7. Pippen for 3. And Fisher on it. Has a 3-on-1. Bryant, catch and shot by Kobe Bryant, who has hit his last 3 out of 4 after going 0 for 7.
If Portland doesn't score here and LA does, you're going to see Mike Dunn need to get a timeout. He cannot let themselves dig a hole.
Wallace. Horace Grant thought he had a tie-up. Instead, it's his 4th foul.
Rasheed having a little conversation with the referee as he gets fouled. But Kobe Bryant, again, how vital it is for him to score to give them that second option, especially with Shaq not getting untracked as of yet. He posts up Rasheed deep in the lane. And the foul by Horace Grant. Horace thought that it was all ball, should have been a jump ball. And after that play, Rasheed had some conversation with Bernie Fryer, one of the officials, but it was very calm.
Yes, very engaging conversation.
All right, Marvel, there's a little levity out here amongst the competitors. Before the last trip down the court, Phil Jackson called Rick Fox over. He said, stay on your feet. Don't leave your feet defensively. And he repeated about 4 or 5 times. And Scottie Pippen was standing right there, and he turned around and he said, you know, Phil, that's something I've never heard before. And Phil broke down laughing, and Rick Fox was able to escape without being hollered at anymore. Marv?
And Doug, you know, Jim really knows levity.
Yeah, and
he picks it right up.
And you know that Scottie's heard most of everything Phil's ever had to say, so enough of that.
Just a knee-slapping type climate here. Lakers up 58-53. 4 minutes gone by in the third.
Boy, Kobe really wanted the ball.
Well, back come the Blazers, and Shaquille O'Neal is now 3 of 14 from the field. Here's Pippen with the step. Scottie Pippen.
Again, did you see him use that left arm? Marv, he's not using that right arm very often to shoot the basketball. He's sort of dragging it beside him. In the passing lane, he's trying to deflect everything with his left arm. I think that right elbow still bothers him.
Coming off the elbow surgery, Scottie Pippen shot the ball well. He's 4 for 6. He has 10 points.
I tell you, when Scotty is in the attack mode like this, he's so good at getting to the basket. That time he uses that off arm to be able to stay away from the block shot from Shaquille O'Neal.
Kobe with the step. Changed that shot. Look out. O'Neal went down, and Robert Horry with nowhere to go. He's called for steps.
Robert Horry started to dribble it, then he changed pivot feet, then he jumped, and then he looked like, where's a teammate? And had no place to go. Horace Grant, who's played such good basketball, they need him on the floor today because he's played really, he and Derek Fisher, the best of all the Lakers so far.
Carter 7 of 9, 14 points, 7 rebounds. Nice pass. Stoudemire setting it up for Wallace. And the Blazers are within 1. This is a rematch of last season's dramatic Western Conference Final Series won by the Lakers in 7. Fox going last. The basket will count and a foul.
It's going to be a flagrant foul. So it'll be 2 free throws in the ball. I think Shaq, out of his frustration, looked like he charged into Sabonis. So Sabonis will shoot the free throws, and then they'll get the ball sideline out of bounds. So that's a flagrant foul. It's hard to tell from that angle. You see Sabonis down on the deck, and Kobe grabbing his ankle. That's a load falling on that ankle. Sabonis over 300 pounds. Flagrant foul, flagrant 1. It's 2 shots and possession. And you see, that's how you get hurt, you know, when you're standing away from the ball. Seen guys get rolled into an ankle or a knee. So frustration in Shaq here is he's not been able to get in any kind of offensive rhythm today. Portland has done a nice job.
And we're looking at a 3 for 15. And Shaq, during the course of the week, was coming out, at least here in the media in Los Angeles, saying, I own Arvydas Sabonis. So that is one of the reasons that he has been frustrated, because we're looking at 3 of 15 from the field.
That's a great point. You know, when you get in the competition of playoff battles, sometimes better to leave things left unsaid until you eliminate a team.
Yes. Shaq has missed his last 8 shots. Steve Smith giving the Blazers a 61-60 lead. Bryant for Fisher. Derek Fisher. Sensational shooting by Fisher. He's 6 for 7 from the field for 19 points.
How about the trust the Lakers are showing with him, though? Kobe, all the guys penetrating, really looking to find that hot hand.
Lakers up by 1. Wallace facing the double. Now here's Wallace. Nice touch by Rasheed Wallace. He's played well. 7 of 11. He has 19 points.
Scottie Pippen says he cannot guard you, so get into the post and I will find you. The great patience there. He makes 2 passes to get him the shot.
Robert Horry coming up short on the 3. Pippen was hoping someone was breaking. Portland Trail Blazers finished the regular season losing their last 3, 7 of the last 10. Arvydas Sabonis. Now that's bad news for the Lakers. When Sabonis starts hitting the outside shot, it means that Shaq has to come out. Timeout is taken by Phil Jackson. The Blazers up by 3.
The battle inside for the 2 big men, Sabonis and Shaq. They've been going at it all day. And then it's Rasheed Wallace. Scotty said, they can't guard you. Repost, I'll get it back to you. Go strong to the rim. He does. And then the great penetrating dive by Stoudemire gets in the lane. Who helps? Shaq. That's why the big man has to spot up and make the shot. He does. The Blazers by 3.
Back in Los Angeles, Doug, still lots of time to go with this in this ball game. 5:43 remaining in the 3rd quarter. This has to be one of the worst performances of this season for Shaquille O'Neal. 57% field goal percentage for the season, which led the NBA. And he's missed his last 8 shots.
Well, the Portland personnel, we saw it last year in the playoffs, at times could really give Shaq problems because the guys who double team are Scottie Pippen and Rasheed Wallace. They have long arms. They're quick. They get back and bother him, so they give Sabonis a lot of help, and they've done a nice job with that today.
Shaq up front with Horry and Fox, Bryant and Fisher at the guards. Here's Fox eluding Pippen and gets it in perfect position for Shaquille O'Neal.
Well, you're so concerned about Fox's three-point shooting. When you run at him, you give him the opportunity to get inside, and those are the kind of shots that you don't want to get Shaquille O'Neal.
65-64, Blazers. Talking about Shaq, who came on very strong in the second half of the season. Many felt that if he had put together any kind of first half, so he'd be a serious MVP candidate. Shaq has said he believes he is the most valuable player. He says not Allen Iverson, not Chris Webber.
Well, you think about some of the other candidates. I mean, Allen Iverson has had a magnificent season. Philly loses in the first game at home. You got Chris Webber. They lose at the first game at home. Kevin Garnett, they lose the first game in San Antonio. So the candidates right now have struggled a little bit.
Kobe Bryant has picked it up. The deadline for the voting was a couple of days after the regular season ended. The MVP honors dealing with the regular season play. But as you mentioned, some of the top candidates have had their problems. Sabonis from way out. But it is a pretty wide open race.
Oh, absolutely. Absolutely.
Fox sets it up for Fisher. Yes. Stoudemire shoveling. Nice ball movement. Wallace for three. And the game is tied at 68. Rasheed Wallace with 22, hearing the boos from the crowd and kind of enjoys it.
Well, he took a picture. You know, one of those Kodak moments after your shot. You know how that is, Marv.
I do. All right, here's Bryant. Kobe Bryant with 13 points. 10 of his 13 here in the third. Lakers up 70. 68. Both clubs shooting well now. Wallace played by Horry. Here's Pippen for three. Oh, good job by Sabonis to get that rebound.
He didn't even have to jump. He just put his arm on Shaq.
Oh, Horry keeps the dribble alive. Nice play by Robert Horry. Fisher pulls up for the three. And Sabonis fouled by O'Neal. And on the subject of our most valuable player conversation, as we take a break, timeout has been called. When we come back, we'll have a rather unique look at the MVP race in the NBA. About that call on Shaquille O'Neal for the foul against Arvydas Sabonis, hit with a technical foul.
The emotions of this game, both teams realizing how vital game one is in a best of five. That's twice now that Shaq has had that kind of foul against Sabonis. Phil feels like that Sabonis has been grabbing Shaq. One was a flagrant foul where it was two shots in the ball. That one just a personal foul. So this is only game one of what many people thought, Marv, would be a Western Conference Finals showdown, and it's in the first round.
Shaquille O'Neal just 4 for 16 from the field today. His worst shooting day of the season was a 5 for 13 against San Antonio. He's had a 6 of 14, a 4 of 11, 7 of 21 against Portland earlier in the year. Shaq picking up his third foul. Steve Smith will shoot the technical.
Mark, Portland's in great shape here right now, down only one, and remember the contributions they got off that bench. So if Rod Strickland and Stacey Augmon can come in and give them some minutes like they gave them in the first half, Portland could be in an opportunity to steal this first game.
Sabonis is 2 for 2 at the line. Arvydas got off to a slow start, but he has been a factor. Made it back from arthroscopic knee surgeries. An injury-hit season for the 36-year-old. Considered one of the great players of all time on the international level. A key man on the Soviet Union's gold medal winning team in the 1988 Olympics in Seoul. Game tied at 70, 2.5 remaining in the third. Robert Horry and Arvydas Sabonis with his 7th rebound. Horry tried to draw the foul. Rasheed Wallace with 24.
When I talked to Phil before the game, he said, you know, late in the game, we might have to go down and double team Wallace. I don't like to do that, but right now he's got to take a look at getting the ball out of his hands as he's being very comfortable in that post.
Not able to hit on that jump hook. Portland up by 2.
Got to go back into Wallace. He's your guy. You've got to go through him.
Wallace posting up on Horry. Here's Fox over to help. Shot clock at 6. Minute and a half remaining in the third. Horace Grant getting set to return. Fisher for 3. Here's Shaquille. Finding his way in, and he thought he was fouled, and screaming in the face of the official, Bill Spooner. The game is tied at 72. 1 minute left in the third. Pippen. O'Neal playing with ferocity.
See, I think you have to make Scottie Pippen look to shoot some outside shots. You've got to double team Smith and Wallace. We're not sure how Scottie's elbow is feeling, but you got to make him make some shots.
Shot clock down to 5. It's at 3. Horry. Did he get it off in time? No, it's a 24-second. Wait a moment. The basketball count. The Blazers stop play, and now Don Payton walking over to the scorer's table. There was no indication. It appeared that it should have been a 24-second violation. Everyone stopped.
I've seen some strange things occur today. Let's see exactly what happens. Robert Horry's going to fumble the ball. Let's see if he gets it off in time. Boy, oh boy. That is so hard to see. I mean, this... Wow, that is...
You know, looking at it,
so
he may have just released it.
That's why you got to keep playing. You can't stop playing. You don't play the horn, you play the whistle.
The naked eye, in watching it live, it did not appear that he did get it off in time, but you look at that replay, I think he just did get it off, and everyone stopped. Stoudemire. And here's Fox with time running down. Oh! 3 quarters complete, and the Lakers lead the Blazers 74-72. We'll be back after these words from your local station. You are watching the NBA playoffs on NBC. Doug, there is a towel theme going here with Rasheed Wallace, who threw one at his teammate Arvydas Sabonis last week, threw one at an official earlier in the year. This time, I thought a playful gesture, trying to get the attention of assistant coach Tony Brown.
Who knows? But all I know is we got a great game here right now. It's a 2-point game. And, you know, Mark, to me, what's going to be the difference in this game? We know that Shaquille O'Neal and Kobe Bryant have finished games. If Portland is close at the end of the game, that guy right there, Rasheed Wallace, has got to be able to finish, either by scoring or setting up his teammates. He's taken 15 shots. He has got to keep looking to be on the offensive.
I think Rasheed is setting up it's a clear-cut towel endorsement deal coming up. Tony Brown, a one-time NBA player, assistant coach on the staff of Mike Dunleavy. Fourth quarter is underway. Marv Albert, Doug Collins, Jim Gray. Game 1 of the best of 5. Lakers 74, Blazers 72. Sabonis for the cutting Stoudemire, pops it back out. Sabonis for three. Oh! And Brian Shaw with the rebound. Shaw for Shaq. Will it be an offensive foul? Will it be a foul on Sabonis? Mike Dunleavy saying that Shaq was wielding the elbow, but the call is that Sabonis got him first, and that's 4 on the man the Blazers call Sutton.
Well, they really cannot lose him, because what happens is, again, Marv, we talked about it, they lose spacing on the floor. Rasheed trying to give a little help there, feeling that Shaq was able to wheel in with that left arm. When Sabonis sits down now, we know that Dale Davis is not a threat to make shots. So Shaq is going to be back in that paint and does not have to be concerned about rushing out to guard a shooter.
Dale Davis has played only 6 minutes today. Here's Fox for three. A standing three for Rick Fox, only his second field goal. It extends to a 5-point Laker lead.
Portland bench on the floor now. Harvey, Strickland, Davis, and Stacey Ogden with Pippen. Who's going to score for this group?
And Pippen had it batted away by Shaw. Good play. Last touch by Pippen.
Mike Dunleavy has to really watch this team he has on the floor right now. Rick Fox, when he gets those feet together, is an excellent shooter. Remember, the last time these two teams played, he hit 4 of 6 from that three-point. But who is going to score for Portland?
For three. Yes.
The Lakers' three-point shooting, not great during the season. They're 20th in the league. When they see Portland, that basket looks like a bucket up there. They just fired from three.
The Lakers with a 10-2 run, and they lead 80-72. Critical time in the ball game for the Blazers. Fox with the steal. Here's Fox to the rim. Oh, what a play by Rick Fox with Stacey Ogden. Although there was no foul called, and the Blazers will talk it over.
Lakers by 10, an 8-0 run in 88 seconds. Sometimes you don't score, but you can do it other ways. The 7th assist of the game by Kobe Bryant, who's only 5 of 14, as Brian Shaw spots up and hits the three. Then it's Rick Fox with his defense, knocks the ball loose from Stacey Ogden, takes it length of the floor with a nice reverse layup, and lays the ball in the basket. What a game of emotion and energy. You see the Laker bench. Shaquille has been frustrated today, as has Kobe offensively, but you can see the 1-2 punch strictly behind their supporting cast.
The supporting cast led by Derek Fisher, a playoff career high, 21 points. Horace Grant has contributed, as has Rick Fox. Rasheed Wallace checking back in for the Blazers. Foul is called on Fox. That's his 4th. Doug, this game was tied at 70 in the final minute of the 3rd quarter.
Well, very reminiscent. Remember now, Game 7 of the Western Conference Finals, the Blazers had a lead, missed 13 straight shots, and the Lakers came back to win that game. They have got to right now find Rasheed Wallace. He's the guy that I talked about starting this period.
Horry doing a good job fronting on Wallace. Strickland going glass. And the foul is called. Dale Davis hacked on the play by Robert Horry.
Sometimes Rasheed Wallace gets too unselfish. He's got to look to score. He gave that ball up to Rod Strickland. He is their primary scorer, and this is what they pay him to do. At the end of the games, close this up for his team. Scottie Pippen resting, Steve Smith back on the floor, but Rasheed Wallace has got to step forward right now. He is their offensive weapon.
Pippen sits down with 10. We've played 2 minutes of the 4th quarter. Stacey Ogden, and the foul on Dale Davis.
I think Portland is going to have to get Rasheed on the move a little bit. He's standing, getting in the post, and they're double teaming him now, forcing him to give the ball up. So Mike is going to have to think about maybe getting something on the move so he's not so stagnant right now. The Laker defense is locked into him.
That's 4 on Davis. Blazers have missed their last 6 shots. Kobe Bryant, yes. The Laker onslaught continues. Now lead by 12.
How quickly more of this game has turned.
Kobe Bryant obviously feeling better in the second half. Strickland rejected by Fox. several sparkling plays here in the fourth quarter. Shaw met on the switch. Fox for O'Neal. And the foul is called.
Now, will that be flagrant? Looked like Stacey Augmon hit Shaq pretty hard in the face. Shaq looking around saying, wait a second now, I got a flagrant earlier in the game. What about that? Great post position. Look how deep he is, and there is the hard foul. I think the reason that was not a flagrant is because both hands went hard at the basketball. So Dale Davis actually got the foul. Stacey Augmon hit him after the play was over.
Shaquille is 5 of 8 at the line. He finished the season 51%, but really turned it up following the All-Star break, as he said he would.
Well, remember now, this is a guy that Mike Dunleavy used a hack-a-shack on. Remember, he was fouling him the away from the ball foul in the series last year. He shot them so poorly. You can't do that right now. It changes the whole way the Lakers can finish a game now.
19 points for O'Neal, and the Lakers now lead by 14. It's their biggest lead of the game. We played 3 minutes into the fourth. Kobe digging in on Steve Smith, and a reach-in foul on the Lakers.
You notice all this has happened to Sabonis on the foul with the fouls really hurts them. Marv, he's an initiator of their offense. You can pass him the basketball, he can be at the top of the circle, and he can create passing lanes. With him out of the game right now, they are really struggling to find any kind of offensive rhythm.
Sabonis sitting down with his 4th foul. Another Lakers steal. It's a 16-2 spurt for the Lakers. That goes back to late third quarter. O'Neal. And again, he is fouled. And again, it's Dale Davis who is fouled out of 9 minutes of play.
How frustrating is that for Dale Davis? Because there's going to be a technical foul now on Dale Davis. The frustration, he's a power forward, and he's trying to play Shaquille O'Neal. He can't play him, and the frustration of him, you see no points, 2 rebounds, he's fouled out, and now a technical foul, so it's all unraveling for Portland here, Marv, and we've only played about 3.5 minutes of this fourth period.
Kobe Bryant will shoot the technical. Kobe 3 of 5. At the line.
The foul inside. Great post position from Shaquille. No chance for Dale Davis. He can't play him. He takes the foul. And just the frustration, like, you know, I can't guard this guy. Nobody in the league can. Fouls out and just throws the ball. That's a technical foul that's tamed by nature and more of a frustration than anything else. As Dale Davis, you can just see 0 for 4, couldn't get anything going today, Marv.
Dale Davis listed at 6'11", 252. I don't think he's 6'11".
I agree with that. And you know what? You run the risk here also, too. When Portland made all the changes in the offseason, all the big guys they brought in were power forwards, not centers. So they really only have one center, Sabonis. The rest of the guys, Dale Davis, remember Sean Kemp was here. You've got Rasheed Wallace. Those guys can't match up against Shaquille O'Neal.
22nd timeout taken by the Blazers, who've been outscored 14-zip here in the fourth. You go back to that unforgettable Game 7 of the Western Conference Final between these two clubs last season. In the fourth quarter, that Laker rally ended up as a 31-13 advantage in the fourth, and here it's 14-0. And we played 3.5 minutes of the fourth quarter.
Well, remember, last year it was the same scenario. Sabonis picked up his 4th foul, had to sit down, and Brian Grant was a power forward at that time who was undersized trying to play Shaq. This year it's Dale Davis. Dale Davis is a terrific power forward, but when you ask him to play somebody like Shaq, it's impossible. Nobody in the league can play him, especially if you're undersized trying to do that. And the frustration, we saw it in Brian Grant last year, we've seen it in Dale Davis today.
O'Neal to the line. Sabonis has made his way back onto the floor, replacing Davis. And the Lakers now lead 89-72. 15 unanswered for the Lakers here in the fourth. Wallace posting on Ori. All Lakers. Rick Fox has come up very big. 4 steals for Fox along with 7 points. On the steal, Scottie Pippen has just checked back in, fires for 3.
Maybe that will get them going a little bit. You finally get on the scoreboard if you're Portland. It's been over 4 minutes of this period before they finally get their first basket. Cut it to 14. Sabonis is back. Can they make a push here, Marv?
They have missed their previous 8 shots. Lakers have Bryant and Shaw in the backcourt. O'Neal, Ori, and Fox up front. Here's Bryant trying to go to the reverse and draws the foul. Tonight on NBC.
It's coming, and nothing can stop it.
We need bigger guns.
It's big, it's bad, it's back. Godzilla, NBC tonight at 8, 7 Central.
And Kobe Bryant makes it 5 for 7 from the line. 17 points in all, and a 90-75 lead for the Lakers.
See, if the Lakers go on to win this game, you've got to give so much credit to Derek Fisher and Horace Grant. In the first half, those guys combined for 31 points when the big two were struggling. Now, all of a sudden, Kobe and Shaq have worked themselves back into the game, and they've swung it deeply in favor of the Lakers.
Kobe now with 18 points along with the 7 assists. Although Shaq has not shot well, does have 21 and has 16 rebounds. Shaw. Smith is fouled by Bryant. The Lakers committing their 4th team foul. And that's 4 on Kobe. Derek Fisher will check in. Here comes Damon Stoudemire replacing Stacey Augmon.
If my math is right, I think through all this run that Portland has faced from the Lakers, Rasheed Wallace has only gotten 1 shot at the basket, and he missed a fading jumper. And what Phil Jackson's philosophy was going to be in this series was, maybe we'll play him early straight up, but as the game goes on, we're going to give him a lot of help, and they have not allowed Wallace to hardly even catch the basketball.
Kobe sitting down. He will appreciate the 3-day rest before Game 2 here in Los Angeles on Thursday night.
Getting in the penalty, you foul him off the ball, maybe trade 1 for 2, and you try to get yourself back in the game. With him making free throws, you're not inclined to do that, so it changes the finish of this game. Now they can use the clock.
Nice pass from O'Neal. 9 points for Shaw. Lakers up by 16. They had a 13-point lead through the first half. Blazers able to turn it around. Took the lead for a brief period of time. Foul is called on Shaw, so the Lakers are now over the limit.
One of the underrated parts of Shaq's game is his ability to pass the basketball. And when Kobe was out and they didn't have him to be able to create things, you really saw that in his game. He finds his buddy Brian Shaw there. Remember, they played together in Orlando and had a lot of fun down there together. Shaw has come here. They've been revitalized. And Shaq is very unselfish throwing that ball out of the post.
Shaq is an excellent passer.
Yes, he is. He can make that little bounce pass to a cutter, that over-the-pass top. He's so big that he can see over the defense, and if you keep moving, he will find you.
Ten points for Smith. Lakers 93 and the Blazers 79. There's some pressure by Portland. Light pressure. Pippen cheating over. So Fox for the open shot. And it's snatched by O'Neal.
A lot of fatigue in Sabonis for that rebound after banging against Shaq. Remember how he always tells us it's a heavyweight fight. You might bang against me for a half or 3/4, but in the 4th quarter, you're not going to have any legs. Watch his effort here. Do you think this is important? Shaq going for that second ring. Sabonis trying. The legs just not willing.
Back at L.A., major star-studded crowd. Leonardo DiCaprio on hand. David Duchovny, big basketball fan, as is Penny Marshall. Paul Allen, who is the owner of the Portland Trail Blazers. Cindy Crawford making the scene here at Staples. Jimmy Smits. Denzel Washington, who is a regular at Laker games, as is Diane Cannon. Andy Garcia, who's he checking out, Doug?
I don't know.
No. Okay. And Eric LaSalle, one of the stars of NBC's hit drama ER. You can see Eric as Dr. Benton on all new ER. How's that for a lead-in? This Thursday at 10, 9 Central, right here on NBC.
Marv, that's as good as you've ever been.
Just off the top of my head. 5 minutes, 40 seconds to go in the third. Shaq with the follow. Yes! And it counts. A facial served up by Shaquille O'Neal.
Again, just Shaquille O'Neal has worn down the front line of Portland. Dale Davis tried to do his best. He got fouled out. And Sabonis, who's banged all game long, it's like he's lost his legs. There's nothing there. The shot goes up. The second effort by Shaq. And Portland just can't react. As Shaquille O'Neal with the extra effort, those young legs pay off.
5 on Sabonis, 3-point play for O'Neal, who is 10 for 13 at the line, coming off the 13 for 13 in the Lakers' final regular season game. Wallace for 3. And Shaq with rebound number 19. This game busted open when the Lakers scored 19 consecutive points at the end of the third and the start of the fourth. They turned a 2-point deficit into a 17-point lead. Here's Kobe. Yes.
Pickett's sight starting to feel a little bit better.
Kobe Bryant coming up with a strong second half after the slow start. Kobe now has 20 points. Stoudemire. And the Lakers lead 98-81.
I tell you, if you're Portland right now, you've got to keep playing. There's still a lot of time, but more importantly, there are things you can learn in these moments that might help you in game 2. It's a series now. This is not one game.
And a foul is called on the Blazers. Todd Pippen is fourth.
Kobe has come back so strong from missing those games with the ankle injury. More important, he's revitalized emotionally. You could see it in his face today, even though he struggled. Kobe's got it going, and look who loves it, Magic Johnson.
During the regular season, Lakers and Blazers split the 4 games. The numbers were all close. The first blowout, or potential blowout, is Horace Grant for Shaquille O'Neal, who is receiving a standing ovation. Not one of his stronger games, 7 for 21 from the field, but strong enough in particular when the Lakers put this one away in the second half. 24 points, 19 rebounds, 10 of 13 at the foul line. Sabonis struck.
See, if I'm Mike Dunleavy, maybe I give Sabonis maybe another minute. But he's going to have to bounce back, and fatigue is really a problem with him. So if it looks like this game gets out of hand, maybe you'll see Will Perdue come in the game to finish it off. But they need Sabonis for game 2.
4 minutes remaining in this fourth quarter. Foul is called on Pippen. Well, coming up next, except on the West Coast, Godzilla right here on NBC. Kobe Bryant to the free throw line. He's just 6 of 9 at the line. Lakers feeling much better about things. They went through some anxious moments in the second quarter.
It comes back always. We talked about it. Remember last year it was 2 deep. That was 2-0-0 deep versus 2 deep, TWO. Well, the supporting cast of the Lakers held them in the game. And then the stars are finishing off. For Portland, Rasheed Wallace is scoreless in this fourth period.
Strand up defense. Lakers with a 20-point lead. And take possession on another Portland turnover.
The Lakers won the championship last year with their defense. Early in the year, they were playing terrific offense. Now they put it both together.
And the foul is called as Sabonis came down with that rebound and took the hit. Foul by Horry.
I think Antonio Harvey's getting ready to check in for Sabonis. I think Mike Dunleavy feels a lot like I do right now, is you've got to get him out of the game. What a valiant effort. And when he went to the bench with fouls, Portland really had no answer for Shaq, and that's when the Lakers really took off, Marv.
Sabonis 3 of 4. He's played 30 minutes. And here comes Shaq making his way back in with a 19-point lead, 3.5 to go.
Yeah, interesting. Well, the one thing, if you're Phil, the one thing you can't have happen is for him to come in and twist an ankle or something that would cost him dearly in a game 2. So Phil knows his star better than anybody else. And you know what? When you're a coach and you're around a team, you've got to go with what you feel and what you see every day.
Also, there have been some testy moments here, and you don't want to have one of your star players involved.
Right.
Kobe Bryant. Same could be said for Kobe. When do you pull him? He's playing with that injured hip.
I think what happened with Kobe, he got off to such a slow start, and now he's got it going. I think Phil wants him to stay in some rhythm as we see Stoudemire step back and hit the 3. But I'd give him maybe one more minute and pull the plug.
Lakers lead 103-86. Bryant going back door, looking for the pass from Fisher.
Kobe's gotten more into this game as it's gone on. He's more fresh right now than when he started.
That's a 3 for Kobe. He now has 27 points, 24 of the 27 of the second half. Kobe telling us early what a great state of mind that he's in right now. Got married earlier this week. Starting the playoffs, feeling much better about the ankle problem. Foul is on the Blazers. That's 6 on Pippen. And Scotty of the Year of the official Don Bates being ushered aside by teammates as a timeout is called.
And Rasheed Wallace is the mediator.
Right. He went over to Don Bates and said, "Nice game." No, he didn't. We'll be right back. All right, back in Los Angeles. Marv Albert, Doug Collins, Jim Gray with 2:16 remaining in this fourth quarter, and the Lakers up 106-86. Shaquille O'Neal back to the line. He's 10 for 13 at the line. And there is the newlywed, Vanessa Bryant, in day 4 of the honeymoon, right here at Staples.
And Kobe is a happy man. When we spoke to him before the game, he had $1 million smile, beautiful wife, 22 years old, championship ring. What else could you have except a second championship ring?
He got married this past Wednesday. They were engaged during the playoffs last year. Does it count? Yes, it does. Damon Stoudemire going glass and the foul. So with 2:03 to go in this fourth quarter, Lakers now lead 106-88. And now Shaquille O'Neal will take a seat. He parts with 24 points, 20 rebounds.
See, now, one of the things I think the reason Phil took him out here was because many instances when Shaq misses free throws, he loses concentration. And he's had a great day. See him sitting beside David Duchovny. He's wanting to know here if he wants to appear on the X-Files.
So what is that?
Shaq is busy for the next 7 weeks.
What is that rerun episode I saw the other day?
But I don't think that Phil wants him to go to that free throw line here 3 or 4 times at the end of the game. Maybe miss him because he's not concentrating and it carry over to another game.
So Shaq and Kobe both sitting down. Kobe with 28 points, 25 of the 28 in the second half. A minute and a half remaining in the fourth quarter. A very impressive effort by the Los Angeles Lakers, who appeared to be stagnant, in some trouble at one point. Stoudemire way off on that three. Portland looking very sharp through the second quarter, part of the third, and then the Lakers just turned it on.
What will happen now in game 2? How will Portland come out? They were right in the game until that surge. We know that all the things they've gone through all season, can they crank it up one more time here, knowing that if they go down 0-2, they're probably going to lose this series. So game 2 will be a must for them.
I tell you, after losses by the Blazers here at Staples, as Augment is able to knock it down, perhaps that Portland locker room is not the place you want to be.
Well, you know, it's interesting, but in the 4 games that two teams have played going in today, they had identical points. And so that's how close it was. Now, the games weren't always close, but both teams were averaging about 98 points a game.
Deflected out by Detlef Schrempf. They will meet in game 2 here in Los Angeles, Thursday night, game 3 at the Rose Garden in Portland next Sunday. 106-91. Lakers breaking it open with that 19-0 run. The high point man, Kobe Bryant with 28, Shaquille O'Neal 24, plus the 20 rebounds. Derek Fisher, a playoff career high, 21. Gene Wallace leading the Blazers with 24. That's 18 now for Damon Stoudemire. Final seconds, standing ovation from this capacity crowd here at Staples. So the Lakers have defeated the Blazers 106-93 to take game 1 of this best of 5. We'll take a break. When we come back, Jim Gray will be talking with one of tonight's stars. Back in a moment. Straight win as the defending champions take game 1 of this best of 5 against Portland. Let's go over to Jim with Shaq and Kobe.
All right, thank you very much, Marv. Shaq, how pleased were you with Fox and the play of Grant and Fisher? Because really, they took over the game until you got it going.
The team played very, very well. You know, they were doubling and tripling like they always do. And, you know, Rick, Robert, and D. Fish, you know, they took the open shots and, you know, they made the open shots. So I'm proud of the way the team played today. And Kobe did a great job of getting everybody involved.
Shaq, thank you. Kobe, you got hurt there in the second quarter. What happened to your rib?
Well, I just got a shot to the ribs, and it hurt pretty bad. You know, it felt like I could play at first, and after a while it got worse and worse. Had to go in the back, get strapped up, and come back out and ready for war.
You're going to be okay?
I hope so.
All right. Good luck to you.
Thank you.
Congratulations on getting married. Good luck on the game. All right. Back to you, Marv.
Thank you, Jim. Again, the final score, Lakers 106, the Blazers 93 in game 1. Game 2 coming up on Thursday night. Coming up next, except on the West Coast, it's Godzilla, starring Matthew Broderick. For Doug Collins and Jim Gray, I'm Marv Albert. Thanks for tuning in. You've been watching the NBA playoffs on NBC.